All right, welcome to the latest episode of the Colman Power Organic Fitness Podcast. I have my latest guest here in front of me, Anne-Marie. Say hello to the listeners.
Hi, everybody, and thanks, Colman, for having me on today.
I most certainly met Anne just on, I suppose the release of this podcast will be a slightly later date, just no more than 7 days ago. Right in saying that, Anne?
Correct? Yeah, last week in Athlone. Yeah.
Yeah, the two of us were most certainly showing what we had to offer on the day, and with the likes of Anne-Marie and myself be quite like-minded about getting people onto a more healthier lifestyle. And she's going to tell you a little bit about herself, a little bit of her background, and we can delve into her product that is available for sale that I most certainly have sampled, and there are reels and videos with my exact expressions of how they went. So Anne-Marie, tell the listeners a little bit.
Okay. Very good. Well, my product is Irish homegrown beetroot juice. So the brand is Fury's Farm, and Fury's Farm is where the beetroot is grown. So we're based in Offaly, and I suppose the story behind it, or how the business came about, I started the business in 2019, and it actually stemmed from a conversation with my dad. Very healthy man, very health focused, always reading up on all things health. And I suppose he's a farmer. He started farming back in 1957. Always loved growing plants and cereal crops, and yeah, so very interested in all things like that. So he wouldn't do his own shopping himself, and that would be my job to get all. But he would have a list of healthy, like, different things like he'd want to be taking, like CoQ10 or all these kind of like things that he would bring into my attention, and I'd be like, "Oh, what's in your list at the moment?" So in 2018, he said, "The next time, Anne-Marie, you're picking up stuff, can you pick up beetroot juice?" And I was like, "Beetroot juice, okay. What's that good for?" And he was like, "Oh, I've been reading about bringing down high blood pressure naturally with beetroot juice." So I went to look for it. Had never entered my head before as a product, and I love food, and again, I love all things health related as well. But beetroot juice hadn't come across anything like that before. So, cut a long story short, when I went to try and find it, all I was faced with was brands coming in from the UK and Germany and Switzerland. And I just was kind of puzzled as to where was the Irish brand. And then I was puzzled because I'd went to such lengths to try and find an Irish brand. And I, when I brought it home, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna taste this as well." And there was a few of us at home that day, in Offaly, a few members of the family, and we all tasted, and we're like, "God, that's not bad." And it's like, it's obviously very good for you. And it led on then to me ringing Teagasc in Moore Park in Cork, and speaking with the artisan food specialist there at the time, and saying, "Okay, is there something in this? Could we look into this further?" And it basically roller coasted from there, because that conversation was in the summer of 2018. And at that point, it was very late in the season for growing any beetroot. We had a very small crop in the ground. As I said, my dad and my two brothers, they're vegetable and tillage farmers. So they would sow a lot of vegetables, a variety, but the main crops would be like, potatoes, carrots, onions, broccoli, all that kind of stuff. A very small crop of beetroot. So when this conversation was had at home, like, maybe I'll do a bit of research and a bit of product development on Irish beetroot juice. It was very late in the growing season, so they sold to someone and said, "Look, if it grows and it takes off and we haven't left it too late, so be it. You have product there to work with." And that escalated to very bad, to the research for me really getting stuck in and working hard in it, and I'm working fast on it because the beetroot was growing away nicely and it was coming up ready to harvest. So if you consider that this was all very new to me, and about, okay, product development is one sense, but then you have like, like the branding, finding out about nutritional analysis and all of that. Yeah, it came together pretty fast. So that's the story, I suppose, behind it in a nutshell, from the summer of 2018 to spring of 2019. We had Fury's Farm Irish beetroot juice ready for retail.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
since I've tasted last week, I would be someone who is into all things health. And just tell the people how many ingredients are actually in the product.
that's it. It's a very clean product.
Two.
There's only
Two people.
two
Two
ingredients.
products.
Yeah, two. And like, talk about low carbon footprint. I mean, you'd look back now and say, why was nobody else, why was this not being produced in Ireland before this? Why did it need to come in from abroad? Why, when beetroot grows, really well here, like, it's one of our better veg. And so yeah, so a very clean product, 70% homegrown, pesticide-free beetroot, and we blend that then with 30% apples from Contrast's farm in County Tipperary. And actually Con then, he bottles and presses the juice for me. So yeah, it's a very clean product. I will say last year I developed another product which is actually 100% beetroot, and that's called the Beet Bullet, and that's very much I developed with the athletes in mind. It's basically to do with the nitric oxide boost. Athletes go after this high volume of nitrates, and in order to get that from the regular beetroot juice, they need to drink a larger quantity. So a lot of customers that were buying the juice, I knew a large category of customers that buy beetroot juice in general would be athletes, and they would ask, do you do the beetroot shots? And so yeah, so that led on to work all last winter, spring, and we launched the Beetroot Bullet this summer. So that's 100% beetroot. But the regular beetroot juice that you'll see like dotted in all the health food stores and super values around the country is 30 apple, 70 beetroot.
Yeah, and it's in a glass jar as well for those people that I suppose haven't come across it yet, because
Yeah,
those
glass
things,
bottle.
yeah, is again another health benefit. It's reusable. It doesn't, I suppose, have excess amount of toxins being leached into the product, which is some of the reasons why a lot of people are leaning towards more products that are produced in the likes of glass, especially Irish products. It's a no-brainer, and it's enjoyable. It's one of the most enjoyable fresh drinks that you can get out there, with so many health benefits, like beetroot. And this is not a joke. I literally only met. And last week, it is definitely something I wrote about in the book, and it's one of my favorite vegetables, just because, again, as she stated, the fact that it grows so well here in Ireland. And if you're not growing it, it's one of the things you can pop into a shop and people can consume it. And apples, again, something that is a natural prebiotic, which is good for your gut health. All benefits coming from, I suppose, an Irish homegrown product such as yourselves is great. And that's why I suppose I wanted to have Anne-Marie on here and tell her story in relation to how they're producing it. And tell me a little bit more about, I suppose, who's involved in the whole process of it, because it's kind of the background story that people don't hear enough about, Marie. I just want to hear your
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose the story with me starting out this business, I studied science in college, but then I actually ended up in the bloodstock industry for years. But I had always, a relationship back home with the farm. We have actually still currently 3 farmers markets running every Saturday, and I would have helped out of that, down to the years on a Saturday if I was home. So I always was interested, keeping an eye on what was going home, growing the vegetables, dealing with the public, and I love talking about food. So even at the farmers markets, when you the customers coming and talking about food, veg, seeing their appreciation for homegrown vegetables. But yeah, so I suppose then I started this business, and I started because I was actually had a full-time job. I was working full-time. I started this on the side. So there was no pressure on, on me for this to work, say. So I was just testing the water, like seeing the reaction from the customers, seeing how year one would go. And, it took off really fast, and it took off very well. And the support from home. So if I was starting this from scratch and I was trying to just, discover where was I going to get the beetroot from, who was going to grow it for me, to be honest, we would never have started the business. So that base from home, and the fact that my dad and my 2 brothers, they're grown the beetroot for me, I never have to worry about that. I know it's been grown like really well. They have all the knowledge and skills of growing crops for all these years, and it's something I don't even need to worry about. It's all taking place, and everyone comes in then behind me. So like, say, for harvesting days and the washing of beetroot and prepping it for the bottling. So say that was even happening this week at home now, and the boys, I just give them a call saying, how have we fixed this week? Are we okay to harvest and get it ready for pressing and bottling? And they'll work with me, and great support. So yeah, and as I said, that took the pressure off at the start, and that's why I was, I had a great, I'd say, it was a stepping stone, or it was a great asset to me to be able to start the business and to move forward with it.
kind of slowly ease yourself into it. I do love, I suppose, family-run businesses, especially it being Irish as well, and the benefits of the beetroot, not only for its increased energy levels, which most people are actually looking. It's so full of antioxidants that reduce stress, less stress, more energy. There's so many advantages that's why I suppose I want more people to get and those antioxidants into their diet, because the darker the color, the higher the antioxidants. Because a lot of people ask me, Colman, do you drink coffee? I don't drink coffee, but I would most certainly add beetroot to my diet in a high percentage. And that's, I suppose, what I would recommend to people. Eat more real foods in a nutshell. And it's great that you were involved in the likes of the country markets as well.
Actually, funnily enough, I did Bloom this year, and I think it was Bloom, or it could have been at Dublin at the RDS. I did the Marathon Expo, and a few customers had said, do you follow Colman Power? I mean, he's obsessed with beetroot. And I was like, Colman Power? I think that it must have been, it was early on in the summer, so I'd say it was Bloom. So it was customers that brought you to my attention. So then I was like, I'm going to look up Colman Power and then I discovered the podcast myself. So I'm a big fan. And what I love about your podcast is as well is that the information, it's just so doable for people. And like I do say with the beetroot juice, I mean, it's just an easy step to bring into your diet. It's not complicated. Like trying to be healthy, if you overcomplicate it, people can get put off and all the rest. But as you said, just eating real foods and introducing like an Irish superfood into your diet. I mean, everyone goes on about all these superfoods, then they're coming in from, oh my God, thousands of miles away. And when you consider like that beetroot is our Irish superfood, and we have access to that, and especially now with the beetroot juice, I say, it's a very convenient way to harness the health benefits of a superfood in a grab and go manner. Like with the best intentions of the world, people have like trying to be good, eat well every day. People's lives are really busy, and they're trying to pack in a lot every day into their busy lives. And when you consider like a couple of days can go past, and um the food choices mightn't be the best. So if you could break it down into simple steps and do simple things to kind of help your health, increase your health profile, or to try and to build a better, healthier lifestyle. Start your day, I say, pour yourself a glass of beetroot juice. At least you're getting your day off to a good start, and start your day as you mean to go on. You probably are most likely to make healthier choices if you start correctly in the day.
It's a domino effect, I suppose. It's the point of one compound effect. One food follows the other, and what you're looking for is, I suppose, I love that fact that attack the day, start your day off healthy, then it involves, and it rubs off on other people, whether it's family members or it's work colleagues, and they say, "What are you drinking?" "I'm drinking this new cool super beetroot juice," and that's what you want. You want more people to be on the good stuff, as I like to say. But
actually, sorry, I was just thinking of there when I started out and I was doing the shows early on in 2019. When people would say, "Well, what is this, or what's your product?" and I'd say beetroot juice. It was so alien to them. The reaction was like so suspicious. Oh my God, beetroot juice, and like people was like, "Oh God, so suspicious of how it would taste," and kind of going back into their minds of like pickled beetroot juice from their childhood. And I was like, tastes nothing like that. It's not pickled. It hasn't got that vinegar ingredient in it. It's naturally sweet tasting. And I don't know, people seem to have a lot more knowledge around it as a drink now, because even a lot of the shows that I did this year and I did tastings and stuff, when I mentioned, and the reaction was beetroot juice, there was a huge interest in it. And they weren't like dubious or suspicious about the taste. They were more like, "Oh, I've heard about beetroot juice. I've heard it's good for you, but I still have yet to try it." And they tried it, and you can see the reaction. It's very hard to mask it if they don't like it. Okay, there might be the 4%, the 5%. They're like, "No, it's not for me. I don't like the taste of beetroot, so I didn't really expect to like it." But a lot of people are, they change their opinion when they taste it. So, I actually think, the beetroot in the juice itself in the first year, it won a Great Taste Award, and a Blossom Heron, and a McKenna Guide, and a few different awards that you could add that to your label, which I felt was, for me, it was a great confidence boost for me. I could really stand over my product and say, okay, if you might not trust my opinion on it because I'm biased, but at least you can see on the label that those awards are for the taste alone, and they're not necessarily about being a healthy juice. the fact that it is, it's a bonus as well. But yeah, so I think people are less suspicious now about it as a food choice, and they're more willing and, yeah, accepting of it as a regular juice.
Yeah, well, I suppose a lot of people are trying to improve their health, and one of the first things they often say to me is the fact that, Colman, I'd love to have more energy. And that's exactly what this product actually does. And it's the fact that they often would reach more so towards something that's brightly colored, red, that even more often than not says might give you wings. And we won't even mention the brand, but this is a better alternative. I mean, that's what you want for to be healthier. It's not about eating less. It's more so about eating more and eating and drinking, consuming foods that are better for you, such as the likes of this beetroot juice. But not only that, what I've been doing with it, and you can tell me what you do, is since you gave me examples there last week, I've been making the likes of a smoothie with another product. It's a kefir, Kerry kefir, mixing the
Oh
two
my God,
together.
that's interesting you say that, because Kerry Keeper, they are always adding it. Yeah, that's gas. And we've done it at home as well. It's gas, everyone shares their ideas. And then, as you just said, it has a kind of a snowball effect, because I'll be like, oh my God, okay, that should work. So it's funny that you're doing that now as well. Yeah, interesting. It's gas.
And
I do pick up so many tips from customers at shows, from even online people getting in touch. I myself, I was always drinking it as a regular juice. I probably wouldn't myself make that many smoothies. Now, I did actually start when I got chatting to, again, customers saying, have you tried it with that? And I'm like, no, but that sounds delicious. I will try it. And then it led on to, I suppose, people adding it into overnight oats. And that I do now very regular. So if I'm on the road a lot, and I want to be good, I get my oats, and you can add in your yogurt or your kefir, and then you add in your beetroot juice, whatever nuts, chop up a bit of an apple or whatever fruit you have going, and a few nuts or whatever seeds, leave it in your overnight glass, container, and bring it with you the next day. And it's delicious, and it looks good because it has that lovely pink coloring off it. So it's very attractive color to add to foods. It's like can be used as a natural food coloring in salad dressings. People were adding it to some more inventive recipes. They were adding it to bread. They were adding it to pasta to make like pink colored pasta. And then for the cocktail lovers, adding it to like a cocktail, so gin or vanilla flavored vodka. I think I keep hearing this on a regular basis. So like, I suppose, okay, you're coming into Christmas and you're like, okay, you could have a cocktail, but it'd be like with a healthy twist. So you don't have to add in all these unnatural kind of, whatever mixers or whatever. You can have your treat or your alcoholic beverage in a group of people. It can be a focal point, and it looks pretty in a glass. And you've got your antioxidants in there afterwards to mop up all those free radicals.
I'm definitely going to try some of those more than others, but yeah, no, but definitely, I'm all over overnight oats, but definitely going to incorporate that in. I'm going to send you
Yeah,
on a photograph and tag you on Instagram.
do please.
Definitely will. The cocktails, either myself or many of the viewers or the listeners, will definitely be sampling that coming up to Christmas. But we're keeping it healthy other than that. But yeah, this is a great idea.
Absolutely.
That's what it's about. It's about sharing a recipe, or yeah, which it is. A recipe like adding in more of these type of foods to improve your health is what my whole ethos is. And it's great to share knowledge, and that's what this podcast is about. It's a conversation between two people that people get to gain the I suppose advantage of hearing how it's used, the benefits of it, and definitely I suppose where they can get it is another thing.
And actually, just thinking of there as well, what we also noticed this year is like it doesn't have to be like for adults. It can be very much for the general audience. So people drink beetroot juice for very different reasons. When I developed the product, it was very much with the high blood pressure in mind, and that's where it came to our attention. But then further research, when you looked into it, it's like, oh my God, there's so many health benefits around it. Like, just for people's digestive system, for people with high cholesterol, people using it as a workout drink, like, or athletes drinking it for performance reasons. And then you kind of you listen to people, or you're chatting to your customers at shows, and they're telling you feedback that you hadn't even really realized. So people that were suffering with long COVID, that had their energy levels, they were drinking it. They were new customers drinking it for that reason alone. So you're learning all the time by why people are drinking it and for what reasons. But children as well, right? If you are kind of trying to introduce a healthy, juice, or trying to, I don't know, disguise beetroot coming in as a vegetable into their diet. Even especially over the summer months, the ice pop makers, just literally add in the juice straight into the ice pop makers, bang it into the fridge or the freezer, and they are none the wiser. And it's lovely. It's purple. It looks, or you can actually add milk again, or yogurt in it, Glendisk yogurt. Add that in, put that in as ice pops, and you have kids introduced to it there, without them even realizing. So yeah, so you're learning from your customers, and you're learning that you can actually add this into any category of age. It doesn't need to be necessarily adults or whatever. Children, it's an ideal drink for children, and start them healthy at a young age as well.
Yeah, and ideas that are just flooding into my head with the likes of beetroot juice is cooking it with the likes of pasta. I don't know if you mentioned that, but also using it with the likes of rice would be another one to incorporate
Yeah, I
into.
never thought of rice. Yeah.
Yeah, just towards the end, literally putting in, adding a color, because that's what people are not consuming enough of. Like, we can talk about antioxidants, but some people might even be at that level. It's color is what you want in your diet, and the darker the color, the more benefits you gain from it. And with beetroot, Nordby mentioned this again, improve cognitive function. So literally with improved blood flow, you're able to concentrate more. So anybody doing studying for exams, or want to, I suppose, think a little bit clearer and work, it definitely would be something you can incorporate into.
Absolutely. And also, I think we're coming up to a time of like December, whether we like it or not, most people do overindulge. They're like trying to be so good. I've even like chatting to so many people there recently, and they're like having like a really strict November, and even a kind of a strict early introduction to December, and then they just go to just make up for it and probably go the other end of the scale then. But outside of that, in January or whatever, like January can be very much too much focused on, these change your lifestyle. It's so off-putting at times for people because it seems like such a big challenge to undertake. But again, bringing it back, like you could have, by taking, as you said, the colorful foods, they're full of antioxidants, they're good for your liver, they're going to start, a cleanse, they're going to give you energy. You want to start a new year anyway with energy and a bit of life and a bit of vigor in it, and by eating well and just having something like the beetroot juice, you're just giving yourself that kickstart and that added boost.
Yeah, too right. And I suppose definitely, Anne-Marie, I want you to tell, I suppose, the listeners, where is the places that they most certainly could and can purchase it? Can they buy it online?
Okay, so you can buy it online. Yeah, we sell it online. You can also pick it up in selected SuperValus around the country. So again, most of those SuperValus are listed on my website, which is www.furiesfarm.ie. And all of the Nourish stores, so there's 19 Nourish health food stores around the country. They all sell it. Actually, they have a special offer for the month of November, so it's €1 off every bottle. So still have time. There's a week there left. Either hit your local Nourish store, or they sell it online as well. And then a lot of the independents, so be it like Arkeen Quality Food Store, Nolan's of Clontarf, Avoca, stores like that, local veg stores sometimes stock it, butchers, a variety of stockists. So check out the website. That's one of the best protocols to check for your nearest stockist.
Yeah.
Or equally get in touch, because if anyone wants to send me a message, I'm more than happy for anything we've discussed here tonight or today, about questions they might have around the product that I haven't hit on, or stockists in general, whatever it is. Then absolutely feel free to get in touch. They can get in touch in direct message on Instagram or Facebook, and email hello@furiesfarm.ie. Yeah.
Super. I suppose that's it in a nutshell. We're literally trying to get people back on good health from the likes of these type of foods. So as I always say, I put all those in the show notes, and if you want to message Anne-Marie directly, I recommend it. Don't take my word for it. I want you to try it as well. And Anne-Marie, thanks so much for coming on to the podcast. And I always finish up these shows by saying, stay tuned, stay classy, and keep it organic.
Thanks very much.